Welcome this morning to Frostland Survivor Man. I am the Frostman, absent Joey. Joey was planning to be here today, but unfortunately he took sick yesterday, and I'm very sad about that. Joey and I started this YouTube channel. It was Joey's idea, first of all. Joey is the one who wanted to do this. And second of all, it's really fun. We really enjoy doing these videos. We have said time and again, one thing you're never going to hear us say, well, you'll hear me say it now to tell you you're not going to hear us say it, is like and subscribe. Because if you like this, you will subscribe. If you make a comment, we try to do something reflective of that comment. So we're very thankful for you watching, but we really have a good time, and I really miss Joey today. This behind me, what you can see, is my little storage shed, and I have a little bit of everything in here. We have the seasonal furniture and seasonal items. You know, everything kind of goes back and forth within here. Stuff that I've salvaged, stuff that I've glommed. But one of the issues that we have with this storage shed, when my darling honey wabbit wanted us to purchase it, and we noticed where it went, actually, when she purchased it, this was her idea. She bought this. The only place we could put it was where it's sitting now, and it faces west. So when the wind comes out of the west in the winter, we get a lot of snow in the storage shed, which I don't want to do. Now, another thing that I love to do is repurpose. I love to find stuff and find a good use for it that is sometimes non-typical use, not what it's built for. But on this one, I found something that I can use to make something that will really work well. Now, see, we have a couple of these big wooden barn doors. They're 8 feet by 8 feet, so they're pretty large barn doors. And I went to do some work on a barn, doing a steel roof on a barn, and one of the things that was being removed was the roller system that's in the barn. So it has these two items to it. It has these rails. I'm just going to rest this on this screw here so you can get a good look at it. And then it has these rollers. Big, hefty, hardy rollers. Okay? And the way that this works is these wheels ride on this rail. Okay, and they fit right to it. And then you can roll whatever you have down attached at the bottom, right? And it rolled hooks and things like that. Farmers used them for different things. It was just to move stuff from one side of the barn to the other that was fairly heavy. So in looking at these, I thought these would work for my doors. So today my goal is, well, to begin with, the goal was to put these up on the rail with the doors, and if I only put up 2 doors, then I have every combination of doors that I can have one open when I need it open. Joey was going to help me do that today, but unfortunately he took sick last night, and I really feel bad that he can't be here to help, but I can do some of this by myself. So my goal today is to get the rails mounted up here, and then once I get the rails mounted, I'll be able to see where I need to put everything else. So that's my goal. That's what my plan is. And if you want, join me for the ride. Item number 1 in putting this up is going to be putting some blocking up along the rail so that the rail sits off the surface so that the wheels have room to roll. So I've made some blocking here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to attach these blocks right here along this bottom rail. I measured my doors. My largest door is 78 inches, so that gives me plenty of room from the top to the bottom. So I'm going to put these up here. I'm going to move the camera and put it on the high speed so it looks like I'm working really fast. There they are, all up. The next thing is the rail, and I'll do that in super fast as well. Now that rail, on the back side of where those blocks are, all that blocking to hold the rail, on the back side of there is a 2x6. where I put through my screw for everything, I'm going to reinforce that with a secondary one on the back side. And I'm going to use, because that rail's got to be mounted up there good and solid, I'm going to use these. These are, for lack of a better word, Torx lag bolts is what they are. You can see it's a Torx bit. Hold it right up there. Okay, so it's a Torx bit. All of them, when you buy them, buy the case, they come with their own bit. The bit is with them that it fits exactly. I have lots of bits, so I generally have the right bit. But with these ones, I like to use the bit that's provided simply because it can't strip it out then. So I'm going to use these. I'm going to put up the rail. The rail is going to sit right on those blocks, and these bolts are what's going to hold it in there. I was talking to a buddy of mine a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about building products and how he just finished building another house. He's far worse than I am when it comes to properties. Okay, he buys properties, buys houses, buys wrecks, completely strips them out, rebuilds them, and sells them again. And he's done this a number of times. As a matter of fact, he's when it comes to building and remodeling, he's kind of like a hippopotamus with a rash. He just can't sit still. So I was talking to Ron, and I said, you know, one of the things that I find interesting is how much better building products have gotten since we were first married. Like when we were in our 20s and we were trying to build this stuff, you had to know how to use it in order to make it work. You had to have the tools that made it work. Now, things are so much more user-friendly. And this is one of the things that I really love that's come out of that user-friendliness, these Torx lag bolts. I use them a lot when I build log furniture, and I use them pretty much all the time. You saw in the video where we built the stairs, I used them on the staircase. These are great little things. They're expensive, but they're worth the money. So next item, putting up this rail. Well, there's the rail. And you could certainly see why a second pair of hands was necessary. It fell down on me twice, and that was a rough go, but it's up there. It's up there. So I think what I want to do next is go to the end down there with the wheel. I probably better take this screw out of the way first and see if I've got enough space for this roller to work, which I really hope I do because I want it to be fairly tight. Okay, and I was afraid of that, but that's okay, I can fix that. But the roller works. There it is. So it should be able to roll those doors without any real issues. I figured today if I could get the rail up without Joey, I'd be doing really good. Since I've gotten that far, why stop now? I figure I'm going to try and get the door up. So I'm going to need to get the door and fit it in here. It's got to go fit up inside this flange and then bolt to the roller. So I'm gonna get the door ready and see if I can fit that in there and figure out how to do it and make it function. I guess we'll see. Here is my barn door that I want to put up on this shed. And you can see it's really nice old barn door, nice barnwood. The bottom there is the top of the door. That's where it's going to be mounted. And I have to get these flanges off here. Now I took one off, but there's something I want to show you that's a little trick. When you're dealing with wood, these backside carriage bolt heads, you can see them, okay, right here. There they are, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, the problem with those is they're stripped out. The wood's not going to hold them. So when you go to turn the bolt off, it's not going to turn off. So what I like to do is cut a slot in them with the angle grinder so they go from a carriage bolt to a screw. And I'm going to show you how to do that here real quick. Got my angle grinder here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut a slot right in that, right in the top middle section of that carriage bolt. Just like that. Like that. Like that. Really, really simple. Now the removal of the nuts on the backside will be really simple. All I do is I'll put my screwdriver in here like this. Okay, let's go to this one because it'll show it a little bit better. Okay, screwdriver fits in there, and now we'll hold it. And this isn't a screwdriver, this is a chainsaw wrench, but it performs the same function for this exercise. So I put my wrench on the backside, and now I can hold it so it doesn't turn while I get the nut off the backside. And because they're very old bolts, it takes a little while to do it. There's always paint on them, always rust on them, no matter what. But threaded bolts, generally, you can get them to come apart. And that's my goal here. So by cutting that little groove in there, I'm not cutting the head off the bolt. The carriage bolt is actually going to be functional again. And you can do this with vice grips. You can hold it with vice grips, and that works. And take them off. But this method, it doesn't take much to hold it sometimes. And all you need is that little bit extra. And just cutting that in with the grinder. Now, there's places where you can't do that, of course. If you're working around an engine or around any grease, it's probably a bad idea to use that method. But now I can just tap that bolt through, and there it is. And as soon as I get the other three out, then it will be much easier to take out. Right now it's a little bit stuck. I can use my roofing hatchet, and there it is. So I'll get these other three out, and then we'll be ready to hopefully hang this door. Yeah, I'm huffing and puffing because I just lifted this up here. But this is much further than I expected to get today without Joey. And I'm really, really happy to have got this far. I was going to clean up some of the mess in here, but I can't do that. And the reason I can't do that is because that would be really unfair to Joey. He loves being a part of this stuff. So I'll be a minute yet, and then I'm going to try and mount this door, and we'll see if it'll roll. The goal now is to raise this door up about 12 inches, get it up here so I can get this flange on it, and you can see the flange there. So drill a hole through, put a bolt through, and then it will hang. This right here is one of my favorite pieces of equipment of all time. I remember as a little boy watching my father pull his truck that was stuck down an embankment, pull it up the hill using one of these jacks. I watched him do it. Very, very resourceful. I come from a resourceful group of people. This jack can lift just about anything, and today I'm hoping to use it to lift this door up because I just don't have the hands and there's not enough space to get the tractor in here. So my goal is to see if I can get this to lift this door straight up on these rails at an incline. And if I can, then I'll be able to put those flanges on right where I need them. So I'm going to give it a try and see if I can make it work. Seems to be working okay. Yeah, so far so good. I took the jack down a little bit, and taking it down allowed me to have what I think will be enough room to get this bolt in. Bolt doesn't want to go through because there's a little extra sawdust in there. There it is. The bolt came through. Here's the nut. Thread. Good friends are hard to come by. And while it may sound really morbid, I keep an updated list of people who, if I were to die today, I would want to be my pallbearers. And the reason why I keep that updated list is because if when you finally leave this earth, you have 5 good friends to plant you, you've led a really, really blessed life. So what happened was it took a little more work, but I had to go in and clean that, take that bolt out and go clean it up. And now it's going on there. And now I'm going to move this down a little more. There we go. All right, I'm going to move it back. And this is kind of exciting. There it is. My new roller barn door. There it is. It's up, and this is much further than I thought I would get today, flying solo. So really happy with what I got done today. And the next episode hopefully will be Joey being here to help me put up the second door.